What's up, Rubric family? How's everybody today? It's Thursday, and you know what happens on Thursday? It's NXT Review
NXT.
Day. So I have Jean Paul Egg with me. This is Juan, always ready to talk about wrestling for you guys. We want to say first thank you for all the support that we're having this week. A great week for us. A lot of people are watching the show. I actually getting engaged with the show. We started with a Monday Night Raw review with Ryan. Great show. Very very decent for what we've seen before. Right,
Oh
John?
yeah,
How
for
you doing?
for a Monday Night Raw, there was definitely some good in ring matches. Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens was good. Buddy Murphy and Akira Tozawa, even though we've seen it before on 205 Live, was still really good. So there were some good matches, But then there
Oh
was the
yeah.
other Monday
After
Night
all,
Raw stuff. Was that that
yeah,
isn't
you
too
get
good,
like
but
you get two good things and then you get like
yeah,
nine bad. But that's
yeah.
what Monday Night Raw was. But right now we're gonna be talking about NXT once again. Thank you for everybody that is watching. The build up for War Games and Survivor Series is over, at least for the NXT brand.
Yeah, well, they might make an appearance on SmackDown, but the main build you would think for War Games would have been tonight, but in all honesty, there wasn't much War Games build. This was mainly a Survivor Series build.
Yeah, and we have a brand new stuff to share with you, brand new data. NXT beat AEW first
Yeah.
time ever in the time that they've been having the Wednesday night wars. So Jean Paul Egg has a great review of AEW Dynamite is in the channel right now, so please watch it. It's great. He's covering every single thing that like that show gave us. It was really good, very interesting. The championship match was announced, and also they had the battle royal, new and interesting things. I really enjoyed the Dark Order promo.
Oh, yeah, I thought that was good. Yeah.
I thought it was like they were hyping another type of wrestler. I didn't know where that was going when it
Uh-huh.
started, but I really enjoyed the whole thing. Dark Order, don't uh, don't look for us, we'll find you. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah. It was you almost thought it was a commercial.
yeah, it was an
Like
infomercial. It was
yeah,
great.
but it was
It was
an
absolutely
actual
outstanding.
AEW.
Yeah, it was great. The whole thing, how they had the commercial and everything, great promo. So please go watch that for Jean Paul Egg, covering all of it. So NXT beat AEW for the first time ever. They had to bring the whole roster, whole SmackDown, whole Raw, and mix it with the NXT guys. Jean Paul, how was the show for you?
I mean, if you're not looking at it from if you're just looking at it from a fan perspective and like what we saw, it was a good show and everything on it was exciting. But then if you really break it down and look at it, it might not have been that good of a show, at least storyline wise, because you booked all these matches and not to go into all of them in detail, but like you had Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley to open the show that ended in a no contest. You had, you just had a lot of matches that ended in no contests or DQs or people running out. And this isn't just for tonight; it's kind of just for this whole NXT and
It's just
Survivor.
going, yeah, just because like yeah, they're just hyping the Survivor
Yeah,
Series more
so
than
so
what they used to.
and they don't want anybody to lose here and look
Weak.
to look weak. So they end up in DQs, no contest, this and that. So to me, I don't like when matches end like that. So, but I mean, just it was a good show, but I wish it would have built more towards War Games instead of
And
Survivor
and
Series.
see that was the difficult thing, I believe, because they had those two pay-per-views to go toe to toe, and we mentioned this already because we were saying how some matches in the show before from last week, they didn't kind of make sense because they
Mhm.
were actually hyping the Survivor Series rather than focusing on the War Games.
Yeah,
So yeah, like you're right. Like I think that like the one thing I will say about the show was good. It was interesting. A lot of people, of course, they tune in NXT because they love the main roster. Plain and
hmm
simple. Let's call it how it is. Because
oh
we
yeah,
all we want to see like we want to be like CM Punk. We're gonna be like Phil Brooks. We have a video on Phil Brooks also. His return to WWE. We're gonna call it how it is. I feel that like the everybody was watching just because the whole main roster was there.
oh yeah. And even if they didn't know that they were going to show up, you just that's what's been going on these
You
past
knew
few
because it
weeks.
was the
Yeah,
like it's been happening for the past 2 weeks.
yeah.
Every single
And
show that they
also,
have.
And also, you got to think too. Having these NXT guys on the main roster helps both brands. It helps NXT and main roster because then you see people who maybe they still somehow don't know NXT exists. And then they see these guys and they're like, "Oh shit, let me watch this show on Wednesday nights." And they
Hmm.
watch that. If they're strictly WWE, if they're not already watching like AEW or anything. So then they could watch this. And then you could have people on the main roster who only watch Raw and SmackDown. It could bring them, or I mean, people who only watch NXT might be watching Raw and SmackDown now because they want to see their NXT guys show up.
They got
So
behind a lot
yeah,
of, yeah.
so
That's
I
a good
think it's
thing. Like,
helping. Yeah, so that's the only thing. It's helping both brands, but you don't want to sacrifice NXT to help get the main roster over, which I think was some people, are kind of saying was the case in last night's episode. But I
I
mean,
I I,
to me, there really
I agree
wasn't
with you.
much to build towards War Games anymore. The pay per view was set. The only thing really to build more was if they were going to reveal Ciampa's fourth man, or if that was going to be like we said, maybe they'll do it the day of the pay per view. They'll do it during the match. Someone will come out to help him. Who knows? But I'm pretty much the field was set, in my opinion.
Yeah, like the one thing, for example, that we're gonna go over everything, of course, but we just wanna give you like a preview of what the show was. The one thing that they had to like build a little bit more was like the triple threat that you and me called it. You
Yeah,
and me called it like
and
3 weeks ago. So
I
please
believe
keep
you,
watching the shows.
and I
See,
believe you did say something that it like maybe could be a number one contender, and I was like, no, 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 I don't think they'll do that. And then that's what they're doing.
there you go. And of course, please WWE, if you ever need a hand, I'm gonna give you my address. Everything is in the description down below. So please, if you
Yeah,
wanna give me a
we'll slide
chance,
into your DM.
if you need an extra writer, if you need, interpreter, I'm right here. So please, you can always, if you need an extra hand, I'm right here because we called it. You and me said
Yep.
this is going to be a match. It's going to be a triple threat: Damien Priest, Pete Dunne, and Killian Day. And I didn't add this. I just threw right stipulation right there, and that's what they're doing.
Yep.
Whoever wins in War Games is going to have a title match for the NXT Championship at Survivor Series. So let's cover the whole show, shall we?
Yep. And the show started off. Becky Lynch, she came out, and this was pretty much a response to Triple H, his invasion on all the other shows. So she comes out there and she insults Bailey. She calls out Shayna Baszler, but she's not greeted by either of them. Who
Yes,
comes out?
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Rhea Ripley comes out,
Yep.
and well, the promo with Becky Lynch was kind of funny because she
Yeah.
said, "I really enjoyed this line." Jean Paul, the line that like she goes, "You took care of all the Bailey friends, all like the balloons and everything,
Yeah.
but you have not taken care of your friend that has the purple hair or the blue hair." So meaning
Oh, yeah,
Sasha
Sasha.
Banks, and you became like a whiny old lady with a really bad haircut.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I really enjoy
Oh,
that.
Becky
Becky
Lynch
Lynch,
is always a good promo,
she's
for
good promo.
sure.
She has gotten better, of course, with
Mhm.
this new gimmick of the man. But I really enjoy that part. And like I said, I do enjoy her when she is on the mic. And Rhea Ripley comes out. They had a really great match. Back and forth. Like I like Rhea Ripley's style because it's really like I want to say really strong, stiff. Like
Yeah,
she's
that's
really
what I mean.
aggressive.
Yeah.
It's really a violent. It's powerful style. And Becky was able to merge well with her. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, but like we said earlier, we know this match, who was going to win? Was it going to be Becky? Was it going to be Rhea? It was nobody because Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir, they came out and, that was pretty
They
much
at the
it.
end of the match, yeah, they were both on the mat because Becky put the disarmer on Rhea Ripley, but she was able to grab the ropes, so that
Uh-huh.
was good. There was some nice spots, like I said, both of them were able to show some offense, and then both of the mat, then Maria Manduk, Shayna Baszler, Jessie Manduk, I'm sorry, Maria Shafir, they all came out, and then of course the match would stop, but the funny part is that they grabbed Rhea Ripley, and then Shayna was going to attack Rhea Ripley, and then Becky Lynch actually made the save.
Yeah, the two baby faces teamed up then, which, I mean, to me, as soon as saw the heels come out, you knew that it was okay. Well, these two are going to stop fighting, and then they're going to team up and beat up the heels, run them off. And to me, it's like Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir. They're not like that credible. Yeah, they're in like the horsewomen or whatever you want to call it, like the of MMA coming
Hmm.
into WWE, but they really haven't done much. They're just Shayna's lackeys, but like it would have. Now you don't want to squash Becky and Rhea, but like have these. To me, those two women aren't credible. You know what I mean? Like they just come out and every time they lose or get beat up, they're just like lackeys.
Oh yeah,
I
like
would have
they're
rather I
not
would have
they're
rather have
not
seen
ready to be in the ring.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would have rather seen just these two women have a match and I don't know, have Rhea win. Not like you somebody's hey, the only one of these matches where you do these NXT like a big name NXT versus someone like that on the main roster. The only one to end clean was Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole.
And Adam Cole, yeah, and Adam Cole. But see, and we've said this, and I mentioned this in my review of that show, is that Daniel Bryan is the kind of guy that knows how to do business. He
Yeah.
knows how to create this engagement. He knows how to put somebody over. He
That's
knows
what I
how to
mean.
give
Like
somebody that pat in the
Seth
back.
Rollins can't put no one over. You have I don't count Champa and the Miz because who's the Miz? The Miz loses, it's whatever.
Yeah,
But
like
like
the
you have
Miz is like a more like a of like the host, right? His
yeah
role as a wrestler is kind of shifting. You
yeah.
could see that he's
But to
not the
me,
same.
it's
But you're right.
like I don't know. I would like to just see somebody win in some of these matches. But I understand, you're just trying to build up more hype for Survivor Series. But
And,
like you
and,
said,
and you
the
know, when
best
it comes to the triple threat with the women's, you can't have Becky lose
no.
because you need a how like other shows like AEW, like the champions never lose, and we understand why, because they keep their credibility, need to
But
have their hype.
yeah, to me, the one thing I did notice because like Bailey wasn't on the show or anything, I did see on her Instagram she was like mocking Becky Lynch and stuff, but she was also watching a triple threat match to get ready.
See, for example, those
And,
are
and
good
this
things.
this was the Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and
And
Chris
Benoit,
Benoit. And
WrestleMania 20.
she
That
posted it on her Instagram. Chris Benoit, clear as day on the screen. So you know
that's
how I
legit.
feel about Chris Benoit. So that's one of those things where,
That's
And
legit.
another thing I heard too. You know how her gear
Yeah.
is black and gold, and it says Bay and then Lee. So A is in the middle on the top, E is
AEW.
in the middle, and she
AEW.
never wears the women's title around her waist because it's a big W in the middle, and that would spell out AEW.
That's a rumor that I've seen, like, in a lot of pages that I just follow and I just check for you guys to bring more information. And yeah, there's a rumor right there that like she has the AEW
She
thing.
always wears it on her shoulder. She
Yeah,
never has it around her waist.
because it will say AEW, or maybe they
Yeah.
told her, hey, this is what you're saying. It might be, but like I really appreciate the fact that she's able to say her preference for Chris Benoit.
Uh
He was, probably one of the best technical wrestlers of all time, and the fact that what he did, shouldn't overshadow what he did in the ring. There's two different people: the person that is outside of the ring and the person inside. So where the person that we love or the person that we admire is the person inside of the ring. But
yeah.
that will be a really good topic for an idea that we have in the works, Mr. Jean Paul.
But my whole point of that was I'm really excited to see this match, these three-way, because like a lot of you think Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch, but I mean don't sleep on Bailey because I think Bailey could be the dark horse to win it just because no one is picking her to
Because
win.
she's, yeah, completely, she's the underdog. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
completely like overshadowed by Shayna and Becky Lynch. So yeah, we will be discussing previews and predictions for both the War Games and Survivor Series. So we'll see who Jean Paul picks, we'll see who I pick or Ryan picks. So we'll see what that happens. Moving on.
Moving on, then Kona Reeves was supposed to wrestle Matt Riddle, but fortunately for all of us, I'm not too big on Kona Reeves. He was attacked by Ricochet, so then Ricochet took his spot in the match.
Yeah.
And this was one of those things where, I mean, these two guys, I think they had like 3-4 minutes to wrestle. It was another one that ended in a DQ, but I mean, they got a bunch of offense in on each other. Matt Riddle, he hit his Broton and he hit the knees,
I love
forearms,
the
all
knees.
that
The knees
stuff.
are
Yeah.
good. And Ricochet, in the air,
Hmm.
springboard moves. He's outstanding on that. He's
Yeah, I think,
outstanding on that. He did
yeah,
a cutter too.
yeah.
Same exact cutter that Ray Phoenix did to Nate Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Are you telling me they didn't? I mean, I don't know what, well, that match went off first. Who knows if these guys are watching it on the back in their phones or something?
Yeah, and
Who
then they're
knows what's
like, "Oh,
going
yeah,
on?
I'm gonna hit this move," and then they do it. Like, yeah, you can tell. Like, of course, there's competition. Like,
Uh,
and one thing is like they want to overdo the other one. They want to, be better.
hmm
And of course, like the match turned out to be great. Those two guys, they know what they're doing in the ring. But again, the match ended up in a DQ
Well,
because there was interference.
actually, Matt Riddle, he actually, well, he came, Nakamura and them came out, but Matt Riddle actually was able to roll up Ricochet. I thought it was, I didn't even, notice it at first, but you actually got the pin on Ricochet, but then Cesaro and them, they
Cesaro
attacked. Yeah,
Nakamura came out.
yeah,
Cesaro
because
Nakamura came out.
they're SmackDown, so they attacked, then they had the Raw guys, or they were attacking the Raw, Ricochet, and then Roderick Strong came out and he
Roderick
hit it.
Strong came
Yeah,
out
yeah, he
because
hit.
he came to Nakamura, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
because Nakamura was able to hit Kinshasa on Matt Riddle, but then
yeah,
also your body came out.
yeah, Finn
Finn
Balor, he came
Balor.
out. Yep. So that's what it was almost like this NXT episode clearly had that WWE feel where it was like, oh, we need to get everybody out here. There was like a brawl at the end of everything.
Yes.
It was like total chaos, which some people like that, and some people like that kind of excitement and build. I mean, to me, it's good in small doses. I didn't like it how it was after almost every match and everything else, but like to me, Matt Riddle and Ricochet are legit. You should give these guys longer. There was no reason for this match to really even happen, but because it was only 3 minutes and it didn't get me any more excited for Matt Riddle versus Finn Balor, or because they even had a little bit of an altercation, but it didn't get me any more excited for that. It didn't get me any more excited for the three-way match with Nakamura, Roderick Strong, and AJ Styles.
Yeah,
So
well, AJ
that,
Styles wasn't even there, so that's the one
yeah,
thing I was like, okay, if they would have wanted to hype that match a little bit, it would have been
yeah,
good if they would
that's what I
introduce
mean. It's
AJ
like
Styles in.
they were just sprinkling guys in here or there, but they never had like 100% of a match. Like they didn't just focus on. It wasn't like it was Matt Riddle versus Kona Reeves, and then during the match, Finn Balor came out and he cost Matt Riddle the match, and Kona Reeves won.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't anything like that. It's we had to get 8, 9 guys out here all beating each other up, and it's like, what's going on?
It's
Like,
just like
wait,
that. It's
yeah,
all chaos. They
yeah,
wanted the bros. They want to just feature everybody because that's very WWE like. Of course,
hmm
in this kind of like go home shows, what they like to do is bring a big bro, so everybody's featured, and then you can see your favorite ones. And at the end, like everybody ends up looking strong. For me, Ricochet is underutilized because
hmm
Ricochet should be featured like as a main event player. But the storylines that they give him, like he came from being so good, so strong on NXT, and then he went to the main roster, and then he started losing every time.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like Ricochet. To me, when you bring all these guys down, like the Ricochet, even Cesaro and Nakamura, even though they weren't featured too much, you bring these guys down. It's almost like when they're on the main roster, it's like they're in school and the principal's in there, and they're like, oh man, they're on their toes, and they got to watch what they say and they do. And then when they come down to NXT, these guys can like, they can take a deep breath, they can relax, and they can have fun, and actually do what they want to do. And that's even more evident in the next match we'll get into. But, Ricochet, he still loses coming down here because like I said, he was distracted by Nakamura and Cesaro, and Matt Riddle rolled him up. So it's like, Ricochet still gets the loss. So what was the point here?
I mean, it's just to feature them, and maybe they don't feel that the lose is gonna do too much for Ricochet because
Yeah,
he's
because
not.
they
He's not.
already
I
made.
mean, we know he's good. We know he's
Yeah,
great, but that's our perspective. But like for the regular
yeah,
viewer, maybe they don't see Ricochet as like, oh my gosh, he's great.
yeah, because they
So
portray
that's
him as a loser, which is
that's
unfortunate.
what I mean. Yeah, so
But
they shouldn't do that. They shouldn't do that. But in this case, like you said at the beginning of the show, it's like they couldn't have the show being like a DQ, 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 or like
yeah,
like they needed to have some matches at least to end up with a winner. And that I think is going to be the next match. So take us through.
so then we had the Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish against the Revival. And why were we given this match? Because they had
Because
to have the New Day. Like I said, whether that's a consolation prize for Kofi for doing the job for Brock Lesnar, whether that's to gain sympathy for Xavier Woods, who's injured, whatever. They're in Survivor Series now. The Revival gets the finger like always, and now they get this match. But what a match it was.
Oh, one that was an absolutely
Yeah, this was the
classic,
takeover. This was a
beautiful. It was a
takeover match.
takeover like any
Yeah.
pay per view, any
Oh,
AEW, any wrestling promotion. It was a great match. It was the I will say like tag team wrestling with capital
mhm.
letters throughout the
Yeah.
whole match because they show us how great both teams are.
And to me, the one thing is I hope because this episode definitely had a strong main roster, whether you want to say it's Vince McMahon or whoever, just it had a very main roster influence with like the run-ins and all this other stuff. So I hope if that's the case, then the main roster was watching and they saw this match and they saw how everyone was into it and how, you really felt the story and you felt emotionally invested in the match. I hope then that transitions. Will it? I doubt it, but I hope so. I hope the right
I
people
hope
saw it.
somebody in the back was watching because like
Yeah.
you will see how good the match was. So many near falls and the crowd into both teams, especially
Hmm.
in the revival because this crowd haven't seen the revival in such a long time. When they hit the shattered machine and they
Hmm.
was about to win the match, the crowd was popping like
Oh
the place
yeah.
was falling apart. Place was falling down. Of course, they had to give the Undisputed Era the win, but the
Hmm.
whole match was like at least, I want to say 12 minutes, even 15, I want to say, of like really great tag team wrestling.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Well, they went. I think the whole match total, they went 25 minutes.
there you go.
Yeah.
It was really great. It was like, to me, that was the best match of the show, and that was the
Mhm.
highlight of the show because to see two tag teams feature in such a positive light. Especially the revival that ever since they went up to the main roster, they haven't been featured as this kind of revival.
Yeah,
This
and that's the
revival is
and
not the
that
same revival that we see in the main roster.
and that's the thing. I'm not gonna even complain how I did with Ricochet because that match didn't need to happen. Him versus Matt Riddle, he didn't need to be in that match. He didn't need to get that loss. But this match, the Undisputed Era against the Revival, it's something we wanted to see at Survivor Series. We're not getting it. We're getting it here, and the Revival losing here is fine because it was such a good match. It was such a contested. It wasn't like that they go up on the main roster and they lose you know, by a roll up at WrestleMania to Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. It's not like they're doing the job to the Usos and get with the Usi hot and all that other garbage. Like this is a competitive match, and to lose here, it doesn't hurt them.
Oh
So
no,
I was,
actually
yeah, that's, I
it
mean,
elevates them.
yeah,
It's a kind
exactly,
of a loss that elevates you.
exactly.
For example, hopefully that like the creative, whoever's in the back, the WWE officials, whoever takes care of these things, saw this and they saw how over they were. There's a video of the revival, like when they're leaving the ring, there's chants, please don't leave.
Hmm.
Please don't leave.
Yeah.
The crowd was so hot in Full Sail University when Becky was there and Shayna was she was calling out Shayna. Crowd, Shayna's gonna kill
Yep.
you. They were
Yeah.
booing Becky. So you could tell those kind of crowds, despite that they're like 500, 600 people there, they were hot and they make you feel that the whole entire
No,
atmosphere,
the
that
NXT
intimacy.
the NXT crowds are so great, and they always love their NXT guys, and they appreciate when a main roster guy comes back, and if they're legit, they appreciate them. If they're corporate bullshit, they'll tell them. They'll boo them out of the building, and that's like you said, they don't want the revival to leave, and that's the thing. If WWE doesn't want the revival to leave, you got to tell these guys you can be full time NXT tag team and give them a shit ton of money and a 5-year deal. That's you gotta offer them NXT because they don't want main roster. That's the only
No,
thing I think you
but
can do to keep them from going to AEW.
tell me, you as a member of a tag, would you want to be in the main roster or would you like to be in NXT?
I'd want to be in NXT.
Yeah, because you're going to
That's
be
what I mean.
featured
That's
decent,
that. That's
correct?
what they need to. I don't know if that offer has been given to the revival, but that's what I would do to keep them. Just tell them, hey, you guys can move to NXT full time. And just you won't appear on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown unless it's some kind of another invasion thing
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
like that's what they need to do. Like
Because
the
NXT needs tag teams.
Yeah, like
As
NXT is really weak
well.
with the tag team right now. They haven't been able to elevate. They haven't been able to bring up anybody that is like being contention for the Undisputed
Yeah,
Era.
because you got to think all the tag teams that were on the free agent market went to AEW,
Yeah,
WWE. All the names that they've signed have been singles competitors.
yes, and also like the only thing tag teams that they have in the NXT is like the Forgotten Sons.
Uh
They
huh.
have Fandango, like Breezango with
Yep.
they have them. They have of course Undisputed Era, but other than that, what else do they have?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They don't
There's
have
not many.
anything. They don't have anything. They need to really come up with a good competitor for the Undisputed Era, and it will be nice that like they can have this storyline added and keep going with it. Hey, like the
Yeah.
revival, like we were close to win the titles, so hey, why don't we do this again? Add a takeover for the NXT Tag Team Championship. We were champions before. Why can't we have a shot?
Yeah,
So
and I
moving
and I
along.
think and I think there are they. I don't know the numbers exactly, but I think they might have one more title reign than the Revival. I think they're the winningest tag team in NXT.
Yes, yeah, and the Undisputed Era, I think
So
they
that would
have.
be cool. That'd be cool to see something that they win and get the titles, and then it's tie, and then you can have another match in a year or 2 years to be like who's the best.
Who's the
And
best tag MC, but
yeah,
like exactly grab this situation, grab something that for many people might not be as meaningful and then juice it out,
hmm
make sure that
and,
like you
and
get the best out of this.
and that was the thing, like you said in the match. Just to go through some of the spots when they hit the Shatter Machine, that should have been the end. But I think one of them, the on the Undisputed Era,
Kyle
they were on
O'Reilly
the
Kyle
outside.
O'Reilly
Yeah,
pull out Dawson, Scott
yeah,
Dawson, pull him out, and then of course there were some exchanges of punches, and then the Undisputed Era Fish and O'Reilly hit their finisher,
yep. Which
and
they
that
call
was
it the high low, but I'm gonna call it because I'm an ECW mark. I'm gonna call it total elimination.
total elimination. That is
Yep,
very
they hit
Saturn,
on them. And
very
then
Saturn.
that, and I like I, which who did they hit it on? Was it Dawson or Wilder?
I know it was. I think it was Dawson.
Okay, guys, who would I know? Whoever they hit it on, he yelled something like "kiss my ass" or like "you're a piece of shit" or something, and then they hit him with it. So it was like a cool. I mean, obviously it wasn't real loud, but he yelled it so you could hear it a little bit. But it was just really cool, and like I said, there was like a emotion. It wasn't like when you see them on the main roster and they're just standing there dead and they're just doing the job for
It's because,
someone.
like you
Here,
said,
there
I
was
want like
emotion.
we can say this. Going to NXT is going back to the basics. It's going,
Yeah.
for example, like if you go to like the job that you exceeded the most. It's like
hmm
going back to like high school, maybe. Like you could be yourself. You could be cool, or you were appreciated. That's what it feels for any
Yeah.
single wrestler that was part of the NXT. It's like you said, no restrictions. I
hmm
can be myself. I can have my freedom to say whatever I want on the mic. Act however I want to act. And
Yeah,
I
and
feel
that's
that
and
that's
that's
what
the
like the
thing.
main
It's just
roster doesn't
yeah,
allow them.
and NXT is just not overproduced. There's too many like like there's too many cooks in the kitchen. If you ever heard that expression, like there's too many people trying to add their own touch to it, and it's like just let it alone. It's fine how it is. Just let these guys go out and wrestle. Let them go out and talk. The only
Give
thing
them
we
some
need,
bullet points and
yeah,
that's it.
yeah, the only thing we need you to do is to shoot it correctly with the cameras and add the music and the lights. Let just other than
Yes.
that, let these guys go out and do what they need to do.
For us, if we want an analogy, we could be there's too many people on back line.
Yeah,
We just
exactly.
need two.
Yep. Yeah,
We need
exactly.
the regular sandwiches, and
Yep.
then you need market fresh, and
Yeah,
that's it.
exactly. Yep.
You don't need more than that. You don't need that third person that's gonna
You
be in
need
the middle.
you need Tom and someone else.
Yeah, you need Tom
Yeah.
and somebody else. If
Yeah,
he ever
that's it.
watches the show, hey Tom, how's it going? So I think again, yeah, this match to me stole the show, and it shows you how important tag team can be
hmm
if you know how to use it. Like AEW exceeds using their tag teams, promoting tag team wrestling, but when
And
it
that's the
comes to
one thing.
WWE, tag team wrestling, it's not even a thing. When
Yeah,
they
and
could be, make it a thing.
I'm gonna say this tag team match has been the best tag team match we've seen in wrestling probably since I would go back in like the Lucha Bros and Private Party was a good match,
Oh
but
yeah,
I didn't think any other match after that on AEW has been better than this because I think their tag team matches, a lot of them, they just like rushed and stuff. So I think this tag team match, this was NXT's answer. Like we can do tag team matches too. It's not all about AEW. They're not the only people who can do tag team
oh
matches.
yeah. Well, yeah. If they wanted like to find something how to counterattack that, this was the match. I
hmm
absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. moving along. What was next on the show?
Then we have Kaylee Ray. She defeated Dakota Kai, and Dakota Kai, I feel this match was just put in there. Again, this another one. We'll get into it. It ended in a brawl and a big, a bunch of women coming out. But Kaylee Ray, there was a victor here. She did defeat Dakota Kai with a gory bomb. Wasn't a very long match. I know some people don't like Kaylee Ray. I feel like a lot of that is we're just not used to these NXT UK superstars. Besides the people like Pete Dunne, who's now, it pretty much unless they come over to like the main NXT or like NXT USA, whatever you want to call it, until they come over here, we're not going to be too familiar with them unless we watch NXT UK. And I think that's the problem with Kaylee Ray is we're just not used to her yet. Yes. But she wins here, like I said, with a gory bomb. Dakota Kai, I think this is all just setting her up for a heel turn. I see her turning heel at War Games. There's nothing else to do with her. You squash her, you squash her. But to me, there's a reason for it. She's so talented. Triple H isn't doing this just for the sake of doing it. So has to be a storyline reason. So that's what I think.
I was about to say the same thing. So you stole the words out of my mouth because I was going to say that, like, I think Dakota Kai, it is going to turn heel, and she's going to be the main factor when it comes to the War Games with the women.
Yeah.
So she's going to stop turning on Rhea Ripley and everybody else.
Yeah.
And then she's going to turn heel because, like you said, she's a great wrestler. And I absolutely also, going along with your point, I do feel that a lot of people don't know the NXT UK like wrestlers. We know Walter, we know Pete Dunne, we know Tony Storm, but we haven't seen anything from Tony Storm in the regular NXT, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
So Kaylee Ray is like, we don't know her. We know, at least I know her because of she had a match with Tony Storm at Cardiff. Yeah. And that's the only time that I actually seen them.
Yeah, that was my main introduction to her as well. So I don't know really too much
that I do know
her.
and I do enjoy is Piper Niven.
Yeah,
she was in the Mae Young Classic. She's an absolutely great wrestler, beautiful woman. For people that like to body shame others, Piper Niven is just an absolute goddess, and also great wrestler for her size. She does moves that like any other female can do, like a Nia Jax would not do. So yeah, I feel that is the lack of exposure is what is causing that thing with Kaylee Ray.
But then after the match, you had Carmella come out. She did her little moonwalk thing and everything that she does. And then that pretty much distracted them in the ring. And then all the other SmackDown women came out. And then the Raw women came out and they were all brawling each other. Just some notable moments. Nikki Cross came out. We love Nikki Cross here on the channel.
Nikki Cross clean house.
Yeah, she was beating everybody with a trash can lid. I really liked the moment where you had not Dakota Kai.
Kairi Sane stare down with Io Shirai.
Yeah, and I really liked that moment. I thought that was cool. So, like I said, there was some
those little teases. That was beautiful. And
because
don't you think you're a great, you love Japanese women. I know that. And personally, that's a fetish of Mr. Jean Paul. Although his gimmick doesn't allow that because he's a blue blood, but don't you think that Kairi Sane looks so hot? Is the best I've seen of Kairi Sane.
Yeah, I mean, I think she definitely looks good in that heel persona and stuff, and I think same with Io Shirai. But I mean, like I said, all joking and whatever aside, I feel like both these women are legit in the ring, and now they're finally making Kairi legit because she was legit on NXT, and then they bring her up to the main roster, and she was a joke. She wasn't
used at all. Yeah.
Now they turn her heel, and now she's legit. And, when you're shown, winning and you're having more charisma and all that, you're going to be more attractive. So that's I think they're finally portraying these people in a better light than just like a loser. And
the one thing, I want to just keep elaborating in the thing that you said is they come back to NXT with such passion, with such desire to be themselves, to even go beyond what they did before. And that is something that, we don't see that in the main roster. We don't see the same effort. We don't see the same desire. We don't see the same edge. For example, the stare down was absolutely cool as F. Okay?
Yeah, and I feel like when I looked, you almost look like Io Shirai looked surprised that Kairi Sane looked the way she did.
That's what I mean.
Maybe
That's what
she
like
was expecting her to still be like that pirate princess or whatever they want to
yes,
call her. And she
yes.
came out and she looked like she could have been Io Shirai's little sister.
And she looked like
She looked,
like cool, like
she
with
looked like
like the leather pants.
she had like the backwards hat on and all that other stuff. So she looked legit. Yeah.
For you, Kyrie, for you.
But
So yeah,
I mean, yeah, it was cool. So again,
that was beautiful. And
yeah,
also, like, tell me about it. Nikki Cross comes out and she finally she was Nikki Cross, the Nikki Cross that we know, the unhinged, crazy woman that cleans house. Comes
yeah,
out with the trash, with the top of the trash can, and then
yeah, the
starts
lid.
beating
Yep.
people up.
I mean, it was cool. And like I said, this if you're just looking at it just from and you're not being over analyzing it and you're just watching it for what it was good. But then you think, okay, this is setting up obviously the Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT match, which and we'll get into it more later when we do our previews and predictions, but there's going to be a total of 15 women standing on the ring and in the ring at once. To me, it's just too many people. And, how long are these matches going to be? And I hope it's going to be elimination, which it's Survivor Series, so it should be elimination. So there's going to be at least 10 pinfalls,
Yes.
and you're having 3 of these matches. So that's 30 pinfalls. So this is going to be quick. So people are going to be doing jobs.
Oh
People
yeah.
are
Oh
going to
yeah.
be
This is
getting,
like you've seen Survivor Series
yeah.
before. We've seen the pay-per-views. You know how quick the eliminations were. It's
My
probably like, oh, you
favorite,
hit finisher and done and
my
done. It's over.
favorite Survivor Series is a 4-on-4 done. Five
Yeah.
on five you can do if the rest of the card isn't loaded. But if you have a loaded card, give me 2 Survivor Series matches, 4-on-4, and I'm good.
Yeah, but unfortunately, this time, of course, they had to incorporate NXT because at least it added more.
Yeah,
It
but
added those kind of
to me,
people
I,
that
I
don't
would have
watch
liked
the
it.
roster.
I would have liked it where we just came out of this draft, and then you know you got Raw and SmackDown. Even though they didn't mix up the rosters too much, the rosters were mixed a little bit. You could have had NXT just attack both brands, and you could have had it where this is Triple H saying, "We're at 2 hours now. We're the number one show. You guys can't beat us." And then you have Raw and SmackDown team up together versus NXT.
It should have been like main roster versus
Yeah,
NXT.
yeah.
Should have
I
been
think
like
that would.
we're tired of being called developmental.
Yeah,
We're
even
tired of being
though.
called like high school.
Yeah.
We are the main
e-
thing.
Even though NXT is having their own pay-per-view war games and then their roster is nowhere near the size of the main roster, so guys will definitely having to be pulling double duty. I feel like it still would have made sense more storyline wise. And then because guys are pulling double duty, you can have some main roster guys go over because you can use, this Adam Cole got beat up bad last night, or, this NXT guy got his ass kicked at War Games, so he's not 100%. That's why he lost the Survivor Series. There's definitely ways you could do the story, but
Oh
that's
yeah,
what I
agreed.
feel they should have did because all these attacks were just, you're trying to get people like Carmella, Kyrie Sane, Nikki Cross, who are going to be in these, Survivor Series elimination matches. You're just trying to get them on the show, and you're just throwing everybody out there, and you lose track of who's even out there. I probably didn't even name all the women who came out.
Oh no, because Dana Brooke was there,
Yeah,
Fire and
that's what I
Desire
mean.
was there, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville was there. Yeah, there was a lot of women that like came out, and like you said, it's hard to like keep track of who's there, who's coming in, and everything. But that's WWE. They love
Yep.
to do that. They love to feature every single person that is in the roster on the main four. It's
Yeah,
because you know that like it's a big day, it's a big paycheck for every single wrestler, so they don't want to exclude anybody because what will happen if they do that? Of course, they're gonna ask there for their release, and then going to end up going to AEW. So that's their mentality, that's their mindset when it comes to those things, and they try to please people to
but
give it, like the
well,
two cents here.
the
Here's your
only thing
slice
I'm
of bread.
gonna the only thing I'm gonna say with that is I feel this using AEW for leverage isn't going to last much longer because AEW's roster is already pretty full.
Oh
Are
yeah,
they going to do the WWE method and be just as guilty as them and start signing every free agent just so no one else can get them? I hope not, because then that's going to be the pot calling the kettle black. You're just going to be as guilty as the person you were putting down. So I feel at some point these people are just going to have to start going to Ring of Honor or Impact or New Japan or wherever. If those companies even, I mean, Ring of Honor and Impact will probably take anybody, but New Japan, if you're good, you can probably go there. But some of these people, I don't think they'll be able to use AEW as leverage. So,
Oh no, and
people,
also like I heard that I heard a few reports that are saying that like from now on, because of seeing how good of the response that they got from the WWE, using the NXT and everything feature them, they're gonna be considered like the main mark, the main company, their main, and the number one promotion is gonna be NXT now. They're
yeah.
gonna put all the stuff in NXT. So
I
that to
mean,
me is
I
like
mean, I
is
hope if
great,
that's
and
what they
also at the same
do,
time it might be bad
I hope if
because you
that's
know
what they
that Vince is
do,
gonna have more involvement.
yeah, I hope if that's what they do, they just mean like they're just going to promote NXT more. Maybe on Raw and SmackDown, if you're going to have like, oh, the Undisputed Era is going to defend their titles against, you know, like how they defended the titles against Matt Riddle and Keith Lee.
Yeah.
Promote that match on Raw on Monday. Just say, oh, on Wednesday on the USA Network, blah, 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 the Undisputed Era will go against. That's the kind of thing that I want to see. If you're going to, like, say NXT is going to be your number one show, I don't want to see, like, main roster guys on NXT every week.
Oh
Un-
yeah, like I absolutely
unless
agree with you.
unless they're moving to NXT. Like, I don't want to see Kevin Owens on NXT if he's going to be on Raw on Monday as well. Like, it's one or the other for me.
They have to have exclusivity, and
Yeah.
also like I said, I think that what they're trying to do is make NXT the flagship show out of
Mm.
all of them,
Which
which is
which I
good
hope so.
because
Which I hope so. But like I said, I hope they don't change it up. I hope they just start promoting it more.
I hope
And
they just stick to themselves and Triple H doesn't lose the control that he has, because Shawn Michaels and him and everybody else that is involved in the show is really doing their jobs right. And see, like I
exactly.
said, the reward for that is like, again, we're gonna try to reinstate the same information. This is the first week the ratings came out, and NXT beat AEW for the first
Mm-hmm.
time throughout the whole Wednesday Night Wars. NXT had 938,000 viewers, while AEW had 893,000 viewers. So it's different, and hopefully this situation keeps motivating both promotions to do better. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Cody and everybody's going to be upset. But moving along, we had the War Raiders against the Forgotten Sons, correct?
Yep. And this match, obviously the Viking Raiders are going to win this match, or the War Raiders. Um,
Viking Raiders,
yeah,
main
yeah,
roster,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
NXT
yeah,
War Raiders.
yeah. It was what it was. Steve Cutler and who else is there? Steve
The
Cutler. I
Forgotten
even forget.
Sons.
Yeah, I forget who it is.
I don't
You know what
even
I
know
mean?
because
Because yeah,
the
yeah,
Forgotten Songs are
we're
not
just
even
playing a
featured
little bit.
enough.
You know what I mean? So these guys they lost.
That's why they call their Forgotten Songs, John
Yeah.
Paul, because
So
we
like
don't know their names.
how much do we expect them offense to get in on the Viking Raiders? Not much. This was again, it was one of those matches they put on here just to promote Survivor Series. Oh, look, the Viking Raiders. I guess it was good for them to get that little hometown pop because they were so big in NXT, and this crowd loves them, and they're so talented for how big these guys are. I love their gimmick. I wish WWE didn't try to change their names and all this stuff 30
Oh
different
yeah,
times.
yeah.
You know, it was what it was, but it really didn't do much for me, in
It
all
didn't do
honesty.
much, but then of course we had another brawl, right?
I don't know. Was there one here, or was it just the one at the end where everyone came out from Raw and
At the end,
SmackDown?
I think it is, yes. But like, well, this
Yeah.
match, we was put together just because to showcase everybody, of course. And like, yeah, they needed a kind of like a decent tag team to go against the War Raiders or like the
Mm.
Viking Raiders. And well, at the end, they get the win. Of course, they keep more momentum for what is going to be the Survivor Series. Is one
Yeah. I
once
mean,
again,
to me,
Viking.
it was one of those things where I always say, whenever you get a match like this, I would have just pulled that match from the show and maybe put in a promo of Champa and all these other guys building towards or War Games.
Oh yeah,
Pull
that's
this
that's something
match.
that they didn't do.
Hey, there was, where were the video packages? Where was, I know they NXT, they always have like an NXT Loud for like the official theme of War Games or the Takeover, whatever the pay-per-view is. Where was like that? They could have had a 3-4 minute video package with that song playing and showing, highlights building up to War Games. There was nothing. Now, obviously, they'll show that Saturday in the pre-show and
They did
probably
for a
on
little
Smack.
bit. They did
Yeah,
for a little bit. They did have like video package showing like with the theme song for like, but that more showcase the War Games matches itself. It
yeah,
didn't showcase from Balor with Matt Riddle. It was more towards the War Games match, but it was really short. But like for
yeah,
example, if I'm trying to understand what you're saying is like for example, give me like a promo by like the wrestlers like hyping more War Games. And yeah, like
yeah,
this in this case they failed to do that. I will
yeah,
say they focus more on Survivor Series.
yeah.
So we're gonna go to the main event, correct?
Yep.
Adam
The
Cole against the name
Dominic
Dominic
Dijakovic. You'll get it.
Dijakovic. See,
Yep.
Dominic Dijakovic. See, I'm trying to learn it. I'm starting to master it. Ladder match. Whoever wins gets advantage in the War Games match. Correct?
Yep. And I think we all knew that Adam Cole was going to win here, but I mean, it was a great match. I thought. I don't know. What did you think about it?
It was good. It was a great match. A lot of offense from both guys. Of course, Dijakovic is huge. Like his offense is like it's devastating. It was like you could see Adam Cole was hurt. They used the ladder back and forth. It was I want to say it wasn't too long. It was like I think want to say 10 minutes or so because they
Yeah,
had to of
yeah,
course use the rest of the time to have another brawl. But for what it was, Dijakovic didn't look bad.
yeah. That's what I mean. He looked good, and I think
There
he
was
went.
many spots with his ladders, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, he went for his finisher, which I forget what it's called. I think it's like a knee to the face or something he does.
Yes. Yes.
I forget what it has a actually pretty cool name, but he goes to hit his finisher, and I know like Cole doesn't hit it, which I like that because I feel if he hits his finisher on Adam Cole, it should be done because Dijakovic is such a legit guy. Like you
Yeah.
said, he's massive. I think he's 6'7".
He's
He's
huge and
like
also ripped.
yeah, and
So
Adam
he's a
Cole's
different
not
story.
Adam Cole's not a Marco Stunt, but he's definitely not six, something. So just being in the ring, he made Adam Cole look small. And is it Feast Your Eyes?
I think it is fixed the eyes. Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
now that I'm thinking it, now it just like popped into my head. But Dijakovic's legit, and like I said, there's no way that he's not gonna have NXT gold at some point. But
I want to say Dijakovic should be having gold in
mhm,
2020.
yeah, but the whole, like I said, you knew Adam Cole was gonna win this match.
Feast your eyes. That's what
Feast
it
your
is.
eyes. Yep. And
Feast your-
then he wins. Undisputed Era comes down to celebrate. And then what happens? Like everything else, here
Everything else,
comes
you get a
Raw.
massive guys
Here
from
comes Smack.
SmackDown, from Raw. They go at it. Keith Lee comes out. That was
Oh,
a nice spot that they
this
had
was
with
the
like
best spot. Yeah, because then a bunch of NXT guys came out.
yes.
And you had everybody fighting, and then you had these two huge fucking behemoths. You had Drew McIntyre, Keith Lee. And that's a match I want to see.
Well, yeah, like
Because
McIntyre did the Claymore kick on
yeah,
Dijakovic.
yeah, he hit that. And I mean, I feel like those three guys, I would watch those. I don't know if there's ever been an Iron Man match with three guys, but
No, it's never been.
I would
No.
watch an Iron Man match with the three of them because those guys, they'd be dead. Because
Oh
I
yeah.
feel all three of them would tell each other, let's be as stiff as hell. Let's beat the crap out of each other. Let's make this legit as possible. Because that Claymore kick that he hit on Dijakovic was insane.
It was awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
you
see,
know what I mean?
his offense is really stiff. Like like the Glasgow Kiss or the headbutt.
Yeah.
Is also in Dijakovic is his offense is really
Yeah,
stiff,
he's
really
stiff.
powerful, and Keith Lee the
We,
same thing.
yeah, like when he hit that spirit bomb on Drew McIntyre,
Yes,
like that
you will
was
see how he bounced
yeah,
back. Also,
yeah.
he sold that.
That's what I mean. And Drew McIntyre is huge.
Yes,
That's not like he hit that on, a small guy. Like
like a
when
Marcus Stunt, like a
yeah,
Jungle Boy.
yeah, or even, somebody like from Undisputed Era.
Oh
Or,
yeah,
like Finn
like
Balor.
Roderick Strong or
Yeah.
Finn Balor. Yes,
Yeah, someone like that size. Like, I mean, he hit this on a six. I don't know, what's McIntyre, 6'6"? He could be 6'7".
He's a 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah, that's what I mean. He hit
He's
this
huge
move
too.
on him,
McIntyre
and
is,
it's like,
is huge.
so then that was probably the best spot of this whole brawl, and then so McIntyre was then done. And then Ivar steps up to him, and then you think, oh, these two big boys are going to go at it. And they're
Yes,
like,
with Kid Lee,
but
and
then
then they did a tope.
yeah, well, didn't I think Ivar went through the ropes, didn't he? And then
Yes,
Lee went over, or it was
yes.
vice versa.
So
One
it
of
was
the
a
two.
suicide dive and a tope.
Yeah,
And a tope,
and they
yes. A
took
tope,
everybody
yeah.
out. And then when all this madness is going on, you got Adam Cole, the prick heel, which I love. He's just sitting there laughing. You know, everybody's getting beat up. Who
And
comes out then?
oh yeah, like Adam Cole is by himself because everybody's going at it, and of course, and somebody will say, and I know I'm gonna be shooting here. Strategy. You have to be smart. You don't have to
Yeah,
get in the middle of the fight. You
yeah,
know when to fight.
that's what I mean. Yeah,
Tommaso
Adam.
Ciampa comes out.
Well, actually, Seth Rollins came out first.
Oh
Remember, Seth
yes,
Rollins
yes. I'm
came out.
sorry.
Yeah,
Seth Rollins
Seth
comes
Rollins
out
came
first
out, and he
from the back,
super
from the
kicks
back.
Adam Cole.
Yep. He gets a super kick, and then he
Oh,
gets excited, and he's getting ready for the curb stomp, and then
then yep, then
Tommaso
Daddy's
Ciampa's
home.
music comes out. Yep. And he comes out. Adam Cole is rolled out of the ring because they beat him up, both Ciampa and Rollins, and they
Yeah,
stare at each other. And instead of go against, pick their size or anything, they go for it, and they go
yeah.
at each other, and the crowd is loving it.
Yeah, that's the one. Like when they were chanting "Burn it down," and then you had some people chanting that Rollins isn't cool. So like he had a mixed reaction, and to me, to get into the whole Seth Rollins thing, I agree with CM Punk. The dude needs to get off Twitter. They need to fucking delete his Twitter account. I'm sorry, like everything he tweets is either cringy or he just buries himself more and more and more. Delete your Twitter and turn heel. I don't want to see him on NXT unless he's a heel. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see them try to get Seth Rollins over as a babyface on NXT.
That will be dumb.
Yeah,
That
to
will be
me,
done,
you need to.
and
I
I
mean, I'd
agree with
rather
you.
see him be a heel on the main roster. But if you are moving him down to NXT, he needs to be a heel. He can't be a babyface on NXT.
I agree with you. Like the one thing, for example, see Roman Reigns, although his 4-year reign of supremacy, of dominance, of cringe, he
Mm-hmm.
never went on Twitter so many times as Seth Rollins does.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns kept it to himself, so he
Mm-hmm.
was able to channel
Yeah.
all this negativity,
Yeah.
all this
And
hate from the fans in a different way.
yeah.
While
And the
Seth
only thing,
Rollins
the only
actually
thing that
comes out more.
the only thing that Roman Reigns ever tweets that I see is just stuff that's retweeted by WWE, and he tweets about the matches. Like he tweets, "Oh, I'm going to smack up Baron Corbin and this and that." Like he doesn't tweet personal stuff like Seth. Like he doesn't get into feuds on Twitter. He doesn't go into arguments and back and forth. And that's the one thing you got to appreciate with Roman Reigns, where because either he doesn't let it bother him, because I'm sure he gets tweeted at every single minute of every day how people hate him and they wish all this bad stuff on him. So he just ignores it. Seth Rollins doesn't. I don't know if that's, if he was given the creative freedom to go out there and they say, yeah, say whatever you want to say, but you got to think as the number one man, they would tell him, hey, dude, you need to just not say this stuff.
Yeah,
And not,
you
like,
can see,
yeah,
like, at the end of the day, he's like a whiny baby.
yeah,
Is
exactly.
that becomes, and I will say, it's a whiny bitch.
And to
It's like
me,
yeah, he's just terrible. Like every single thing. Oh, fight me, CM Punk. Oh, I don't care. I'm not really. Oh, coward. Why you
yeah.
have to keep going like this?
And
You
to
keep
me,
digging.
it hurts more with Seth Rollins because I don't know how you feel. Tell me your opinion on this. With Roman Reigns, to me, he was like a slightly better Hulk Hogan, where Roman does his spots and every match is kind of the same unless he's in there with someone who's legit and can carry him. But with Seth Rollins, to me, Seth Rollins was legit. He had a natural build. He came back from the injury and a couple years ago with Triple H, and then he had this slow build up and IC title run and all this stuff. We really, all as fans, got behind Seth Rollins and were like, this is our guy. And then they killed him. They turned him into this. So to me, it's almost like you took what we loved and destroyed it versus Roman Reigns. We didn't really ever love him to begin with. He was just shoved in our face. So it feels almost like they turned Seth Rollins into this to screw us over
Oh
in a
yeah,
way. You know what I mean? Like,
it does feel like that. I would agree with you. Roman was just shoved on our throats, through our
yeah,
throats. Yeah, first of all. Second, the two things that white people always hate is Roman because he never lost He was not, he will never lose to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's one. And second, he was always in the main event, or
Yep.
always fighting for the championships. And like I said, like he was
That's what
not
I said, like a Hogan. That's
yeah,
right.
like
Like,
a Hogan, but like you said, with a little bit more versatility when it comes to
yeah.
moves. That said, going along, I agree with you. He was able to rebuild himself because he was actually under Roman's shadow. The main problem that they did with Rollins is two things. When he was the hottest, they put the Shield back together,
Yep.
so Roman could absorb
Right.
the
Yeah.
the you
Yep.
know the overness
The
if there's a
momentum. Yep.
war,
Yeah. The
from Dean
momentum and
or
all that
John
stuff.
Moxley and Rollins. That was the first thing. Then of course he becomes the Universal Champion in a really kind of like stupid way when the low blow. So that everybody's like, okay, why is the baby face doing the low blow to beat Brock Lesnar? Second, that's the point right there. Overexposure of your finisher. So many curb stomps. Boom. Another point. Everybody was in the know of the relationship with Becky Lynch, but they were not saying it. They started the feud after Brock Lesnar with Baron Corbin, Lacey Evans, Extreme Rules, and all of that. And of course, everybody, the man's man.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want your champion to look like that. And also, we didn't want to know that like they were dating every 5 seconds into the show.
Imagine that T-shirt. The man's man.
The man's man. So
Who
pretty
would
much
buy that shirt?
insinuating a different situation right there, and also like you're saying that Becky is better or is bigger.
Yeah.
So all of that, and the fact that Seth doesn't even play with that. Seth
Mm-hmm.
goes along. It's like it's like if for example somebody starts bullying you and you go along with it. Like you're
Yeah.
like,
That's
oh
it.
my gosh, oh you suck. Why do I suck? Like he was looking for a reason. He wants to be over, but not is not letting it be organic. It's
Yeah.
more like he wants to be over because he's like, I'm the champ. I'm the highest man. I'm the top of the food chain, like Moxley says. So you're supposed to like me, or he wants to be loved by everybody, and you
Yeah.
know
That's
that
the
it's not
thing.
gonna
He
happen right
wants he probably doesn't understand why we all hate him. But I just said it all right here because the the things that he did that made us get behind him, he's not doing anymore.
now. Yes,
He's a
yes.
completely different character than he was a year and a half, 2 years ago.
And it's
So
because see, the main difference is like you said in different words. Exactly what you just said. He went from being one of us to one of them.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's all it is because he became a marquee of
yeah.
WWE corporate.
Because
Seth
to me, I
Rollins.
would have rather seen this everything. If you're gonna do the whole brawl, do the brawl, be how it was. I would have rather have it just been Champa. Champa's out there with Cole, and they fight.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do a main roster guy, and you're gonna have Adam Cole, and if he's gonna eat a move, he took the super kick here, and then Ciampa and hit, they beat down Cole, and then at the end it was Rollins and Ciampa were going at each other. So I would have rather seen it if it's going to be a main roster guy, be Daniel Bryan come down and hit. But I guess because he has the match with the Fiend, he's out of it. But I
Yeah,
don't
they,
know.
they
I would
don't
have
want to
just
like use him because
yeah
the Fiend and the Bryan is a different thing. But
yeah.
like,
But
yeah,
to me, like what you already got this match with Seth Rollins and he won on a DQ because the Undisputed Era came in. So that's almost saying, oh, Adam Cole couldn't beat Seth Rollins. So the Undisputed Era had to help and interfere in the match. And then he gets the super kick on him here. So now this is clearly saying, oh, Seth Rollins is better than Adam Cole.
yeah. Oh, it
That's how
is.
I see it. Because I'm like, we didn't need him in this. It's not like they're going to have a match at Survivor
Or
Series or
they
anything.
protect him way too much because
Yeah.
he should have received some offense from Adam Cole. Is in
Yeah.
NXT is Adam's Cole's yard. Is his yard. So he should at least should have gotten like super kick or like a last shot or like the
Yeah.
Oshigoroshi whatever. But
Yeah.
nothing. So that's one of the things that how the show ended is a little little things where it wasn't a perfect show, but I
No.
feel it did what it was supposed to be doing, that because they're hyping
Well,
the Survivor Series
yeah,
way
I
more
would
than
say
for
I would say it did not what it was
Survivor
supposed to
Series.
do. It promoted Survivor Series. It did what Raw and SmackDown should be doing,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
is unfortunate because we're definitely not going to see NXT build on Friday. So all the I mean, there might be one. There might be one segment that helps build War Games. But other than that, I feel, maybe something with Bailey, something with the women, but I really don't feel we need any more build with the women. We need the build with the men for War Games and stuff. And I
Oh
think,
yeah.
but it was a decent episode if you're just watching it for everything that you saw in the show.
Yes.
There was a great tag team match. Some of the spots in the brawls were fun. It was cool to see some of these guys mix it up. And like I said, in the women's match, cool to see Nikki Cross beating the crap at everybody, Kairi Sane, and Io Shirai.
Io
But
Shirai. It was
I,
like
I
there were some cool
overall,
spots.
yeah, overall,
Overall,
I wish it just build more towards War Games. But I'm still excited for War Games. It didn't lower my excitement at all. And I'm still
we're ready
excited for
for it.
Survivor Series. Yeah,
We're
we're
ready
ready.
for it.
We're
We're
gonna
ready
have
for it.
previews, predictions, like always, all that other good stuff. So.
We're gonna have previews and predictions for that, and this week is the week because remember 2 weeks ago I gave you the wrong date. So once again I apologize for that. I will
No,
be here.
see, Juan just knew that there wasn't going to be any build this week, so he was like, might as well have it this week.
That's right, yeah,
Yeah,
because I
he
knew that
knew.
they were gonna have a show like this that they're
Yeah.
gonna promote the whole roster and everything. So anyway, to close the show, guys, thank you for watching. You know where to find us, Jean Paul Egg. What are our social media outlets?
Well, we got Twitter and Facebook, and they will be linked in the video description.
That's right. So
Find us there.
we'll be back for Smackdown tomorrow. Then we'll be back even more Saturday. We'll be back Sunday for Survivor
Yep.
Series coverage.
Free up your weekend because it's going to be filled with WWE and Rope Break.
It's going to be Road Break weekend alongside WWE, guys. So I want to say thank you to Jean Paul Egg. Thanks to all of you for watching. Keep following the channel, every single social media outlet. We'll be back tomorrow for some SmackDown Live, Jean Paul. So
Yep.
have a great day, guys. Get some, have sweet dreams, I want to say to all of you. Get some rest because tomorrow we still have one more day of work. So,
Hasta